Don't engage alone. We do this together.
Yeah!
Yeah!
We got it! We got it!
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Comics League Dark. I hope you have enjoyed that very special preview of the brand new Comics League channel intro. I kind of wanted to upgrade it since I'm at the point now where the channel's getting the memberships all set up. So I figured it was time for a little change. Plus, I licensed some new music, so I really wanted to utilize it. But let's bring in the boys. Hello, sir.
Hello there.
What'd you think of the intro?
I thought it was pretty good, and I noticed you kind of slipped in a clip where you're not looking as favorable.
Yeah, I know. I needed some more space, so I was like, screw it, I'll do it too. Plus, JJheat's reaction was so priceless in that one scene. So speaking of JJheat,
What's up?
hello. What'd you think of the new intro?
How's everybody doing?
What'd you think of the new intro?
Nice, man. Beautiful, beautiful.
So, let's bring in the final member of the Alliance.
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
All the hopes and dreams.
Teladia, how are you?
I'm good. Great intro, which you could have used.
I wanted to because you guys mentioned on last CLD, I think, in JJheat's thing, it said, please clip this. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'll use that.
I told you it was going to be a great intro.
It is a fantastic intro. So there you go.
That was
And,
the
there's no lot to it.
surprise.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that in a second. So, all right, let's get started with today's topic. Since Daniel already got us all started off, let's talk about the fact that, okay, Gal Gadot is developing Wonder Woman 3 with James Gunn and Peter Safran.
Yeah.
Now, here's something else that's an interesting little factor. Gal Gadot did confirm that Patty is not involved.
That's a silver lining. That is a silver lining.
I think that after 1984, people were like, nah, let's not keep her. Let's not let her have Wonder Woman anymore.
I mean, was it not Patty Jenkins who kept saying, like, you know, all my movies get scuttled by men? Because remember, Patty Jenkins almost got the Thor Dark World gig. Like, he was in the running for that, you know. And then, like,
decent job.
And then you can't claim Wonder Woman as Holy Herd because Zack Snyder had a huge hand in it. So, like, 84 was her big shot. That, like, okay, this movie is a Patty Jenkins movie, and look what happened.
She wrote it, and you know who wrote the first movie? One of the actual dudes that wrote Wonder Woman comics for years. So, of course, the first movie is going to be very Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
I would hope a Wonder Woman movie would be about Wonder Woman.
Did you guys notice? Yes, Tavi, we'll be talking about. Did you guys notice how as soon as 1984 came out and kind of floundered, all of Patty Jenkins was all of a sudden no longer attached to like Rogue Squadron and all that stuff?
Yep.
I mean, the same thing happened with the D&D. You know, the guys who were running Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Like going into season 8, like they had the Star Wars gig, they had the Netflix gig, and then they ended Game of Thrones early for the Star Wars gig. But as soon as season 8 floundered, look how quickly they lost their Star Wars gig.
Exactly. And by the way, I just want to add one little plug here. Hashtag release the air cut because that training event was still going on right now. That's why Snyder Queen's not on the show tonight.
Yes, definitely do that.
But we appreciate her fighting for the release of the Ayer cut because I think we all want that.
Which is more likely than you think, believe it or
It
not.
is. It's very much more. It's more likely than the Snyder cut was. Let me put it that way. And we.
I'd argue
that,
it's more likely than Young Justice getting a season 5. Hey, I said it.
Well, yeah, because this is almost done. But that's besides the point.
We're gonna be talking about animation later. Trust me.
All right. So now, okay. I am happy that Gal is back. Does that mean she's back as Wonder Woman? Maybe. Here's the key thing. I sort of teased this on Under Two Capes about why this is good for SnyderVerse information. Okay, so she specifically said Wonder Woman 3. Now, here's what that indicates to me. If it's 3, I think that means that they are going to have it take place in the former canon as an Elseworlds movie, which means that's opening the door logistically to them returning to the SnyderVerse as Elseworlds projects. So if this comes out and does well, they could do more of that.
I'm going to sprinkle a very healthy amount of salt onto that one, because while that is definitely possible, it could also be that yes, it's Wonder Woman 3, but it's in like the rebooted world where things are slightly different. So it's like you got the new, like, so when Superman appears, it's the new Superman. When Batman appears, it's the new Batman. And like, there's a million things that they could do. While Snyder Restoration is certainly one of them, we can't count on it until we have more information.
Well, yeah, I know that. I was just saying that here's a possible scenario. Hey, what's up? Najee?
Oh, it's certainly a possible scenario, and I'm not trying to say it won't or can't happen. I'm just trying to put a little dose of realism on it.
And by the way, Dave, HBO Max, or Max as it's known now, will need content during the strikes, which I've heard have fallen apart, the talks. So Ayer cut is likely because here's the thing. The Ayer cut would not be affected by the strikes because according to Ayer, it doesn't need a rewrite. It doesn't need anything like that. All it needs is some light VFX work and then it's done. So they can just finish that and then just send it up and they're good to go.
You know, it also needs
and
very
the
little
Schumacher
work.
cut. Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
When you think about it, Nick, these strikes are the best thing that could have happened to the Ayer and Schumacher cuts.
Agreed.
Because it makes because if you make these people desperate, that sounds bad, but hear me out. When you make these executives desperate for content, stuff happens. I.e., the Snyder cut when it was coming out.
So what you're saying is, so where did that bring you? Back to me.
So
you couldn't handle your own failure.
From what we know, from what we know with the Gal Gadot stuff, there's not a lot of information. But I'm going to go around real quick and say, what do you guys think? Because here's the thing. All we know is that they're developing a Wonder Woman movie. It doesn't necessarily mean Gal is going to be Wonder Woman in the movie. It could just be Wonder Woman. It could just be, like Nick said, it's a Wonder Woman movie in the new James Gunn universe. But I'll go around starting with Teladia. What do you think?
I think it'll be a new 52 Wonder Woman.
In that case, she ends up with Superman. So I guess that's a little bit of a silver lining.
I mean,
I wouldn't mind a Scion movie, me personally.
Well, yeah, but the Scion's not the only thing we made, dude.
Hey, Jared, how would you feel if, like, you went to the theaters, and it's like you're watching a Wonder Woman movie, and Henry Cavill appears, and like they develop a relationship, then all of a sudden they fly into the air, they reenact the cover, and then you wake up?
I would be like, can I go back to sleep?
I can't believe Nick would do that. Come on.
I would. So
I am cruel and unusual.
Dave, no, Dave.
Did Gunn confirm this? No, he hasn't yet. That's the interesting thing. And remember, the interview was from June, so stuff could be changing or anything like that. That's the part that kind of got lost in like the reporting on this, is that this particular interview was in June, and you know how Gunn tends to change his mind a lot.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, like, I think that even though they're saying Gal is back, she's saying she's back. I think that they'll change the origins and they'll change a lot of things for Wonder Woman, because
how much do you want to bet Gunn is going to use the Amazon sneak out to ships, sleep with the men, and then kill them?
Oh, that would suck. Here's why I'm not
also
sure.
That would totally be a Gunn thing to do, by the way.
Yes, it would. Here's the one reason why I'm very hesitant to think this will be actually in James Gunn's universe. Here's why. Because Paradise Lost is coming out, and that's supposed to take place before Wonder Woman is born, and it's a prequel series, but I think it would be confusing for the audience if they had a prequel Wonder Woman series and then Wonder Woman movie.
Yes, I agree 110%.
That's the one point where I'm like, maybe it is, maybe it's not.
Well, here's what I think. I think it could be an Elseworld story. Maybe they're gonna do what's it called, Elseworld storyline. Like you know how what's it called, Marvel did their Elseworld stories, with What If and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Series. Imagine DC doing that, but in terms of movies, right? Black labeling it.
Well, all right. Speaking
So
of
what you're saying is you want Batwang?
No. All right. So here's what we have to talk about. And okay. You gave me a fantastic transition, Teladia, to the meat of today's episode. So Jay Oliva, the director of like the Flashpoint Paradox movie, recently did an interview where he basically aired out what the SnyderVerse was gonna culminate in. And it turns out, all right. So it turns out the reason why this universe is different than traditional DC is because, and you would find this out in the Flashpoint movie, that they were going to do an actual Flashpoint movie, mind you. And it turns out the Reverse Flash was behind all the changes in the SnyderVerse because he wanted to screw with Barry.
Which is totally Eobard's MO.
Yeah.
It's meta, it's adjacent. This could work. But
wait, it gets better.
It was me, Barry.
Yes,
it was me all along.
It gets better. So Jay Oliva said after the Dark Side quadrilogy, it would pretty much be Justice League Unlimited, but with the SnyderVerse.
We were robbed.
Imagine if they've gotten Anthony Starr to play Reverse Flash.
We were robbed. End of discussion. Like, Warner Brothers, thank you.
Imagine Anthony Starr as Reverse Flash. Eobard Bond.
And here's the thing. Here's what you have to understand. Wait. Here's what you have to understand too. There was gonna be multiple Flash movies, and you would have seen like the Reverse Flash would be like a player in the background, and a little bit in the other characters, and then finally Flashpoint would be when he goes, "It was me, Barry, all along."
Also, if they were gonna do multiple Flashes, Zach would have brought in Grant Gustin.
Yes, he would. Yeah. I don't think they would have though, because it sounds like he was going to do a straight up Flashpoint movie.
No, but if there's going to be multiple Flashes, like not just Flash and Reverse Flash, but he's going to have multiple ones, he would have brought in John Wesley Shipp and Grant Gustin. Maybe I don't. Granted, we don't know about the other Flash movies. They could have probably brought in Grant to play Wally if they wanted to do that, but. Alternate universes, I don't think Snyder would have gone all in on alternate universes though, but based upon what we know about the universe.
So you're saying he would have pulled a Flash Bargo?
Yeah, what's up?
I'm sorry,
what's up, RJ? RJ says Reverse Flash being the final villain was manipulating everything behind the scenes would have been really cool to see. Yes. Okay, so here's the thing. This is my issue. When a lot of people I say minority of people, it seems like it was a lot of people on Twitter, were complaining about the way Zach portrayed these characters. And I'm like, oh, you mean he had a larger arc planned? If you just let the guy cook, we could have got stuff like this. The problem is now people expect DC fans to give Gunn the chance to cook. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I'll see what he has. I may not be very excited for it because DC has kind of burned me on a lot of stuff, but you can't do that after 10 years of telling everyone Snyder sucks. And by the way, he is the most comics accurate director in terms of DC.
Also,
for the version he was doing.
In this regard, I need to say this. People really need, people keep reporting on Zack Snyder's random ideas, like the Amazons being Kryptonian, which for the record, I don't think was a good idea. But here's the thing. That was just an idea. Keep taking these ideas that Zach had as like, oh, this is what it was going to be, like take it as cold hard fact, and they get all bent out of shape about it. This could have been something that Zach could have like just shot out in a think meeting and just stuck around.
Nick, to be clear, it wasn't the Amazons. It was just the Greek gods that were Kryptonians in that idea.
Yes,
but still, even then,
yeah. I got into an argument with someone on Twitter about this very idea, and I said, "You realize it's an unused idea that was doing like an ideation meeting that never got advanced at all." I personally take it because I'm like, okay, that's pretty cool, and there's nothing in the movie that really refutes it. So I'm like, okay, I personally will go, okay, it's pretty cool. It's a cool way of putting it.
But do you know the one thing I'll say is that it's funny how Jay Oliva tweets out the stuff now than at the time of when the hype for the SnyderVerse Full Circle event was happening.
Okay, this is another thing. It's really funny, and then so what's both ironic and sad is that we probably would have been at this point the original plan gone through instead of the Flash when we got. Yes, RJ, if you time it out, we would have been done with the Snyder plan. We would have been on to the next universe already because it was supposed to end in like 2019, 2020, I think.
It was supposed to be a very short tenure.
Jared.
Yeah, what's up?
You might want to check Comics League chat. There is a picture that Daniel tagged us in.
I love this picture.
Can you please share it?
Yes, I will. So our good friend Daniel, who is in the chat right now, I believe he should be, or he was in there at the beginning. He tweeted me and Nick a fantastic image that actually is really well done. I'll give you that. It's this.
Not gonna lie, if this happened in the SnyderVerse, I would be very happy.
It looks pretty well done, as a matter of fact. Wow.
This is gonna make JJheat mad a little bit.
Not really. I commend it. Nice job. Nice job.
You guys can at least say that's well made. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
But how does it feel? But yes, it was me, Barry. And I'm like, this is my problem. These very same people that were complaining about Zach's movies from the very beginning and saying, oh my gosh, he shouldn't be in charge of DC, fire him, are the same people saying, give Gunn a chance to cook his universe. And I'm like,
Jared,
yeah, what's up?
I gotta say something. It wasn't Professor Zoom who did it.
It was Agatha all along.
Yeah. The thing is that it's the biggest bunch of hypocrisy I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Now, going back to what Teladia said, granted, this could be me just talking out of my ass, which that happens a lot. But it is interesting how a lot of this SnyderVerse stuff comes out. And one more thing I wanted to talk about. So someone posted that like Zack Snyder's DC movies lost Warner Brothers so much money. And then the former president of Warner Brothers came out and said, actually, the only movies we lost a little bit of movie on the Guardians of Ga'Hoole and more money on Sucker Punch, but the rest of his movies were very profitable. Very. He emphasized so what that means is that guess what? Zach's DC movies were extremely popular. So the whole idea about how they financially bombed, that's just a lie.
It may not have been what you wanted.
Wait. Nick was talking first.
For frick's sake, BVS almost made $850 million. BVS is still grossing more than like modern like DC movies. That's even before inflation. BVS has done double what Flash did, double what Black Adam did, like double what Shazam did. Like they wish they could do BVS numbers now.
Yeah, and I got news. See, and this is my thing. They sabotaged so much. And again, here's why I'm not as hardcore rah on the Gunverse, because I have no guarantee from Warner Brothers that this will even go through. How do I know that like if Blue Beetle bombs or if like other movies bomb, if Superman bombs, if they're not just going to pull the plug? I don't know that because this is Warner Brothers. We know Blue Beetle's
going to bomb. We know Blue Beetle's going to bomb.
Yeah.
We know.
Which is the problem with Gunn saying this is the first DC superhero in the DCU, and I'm like, he's going
to change his mind so quickly.
You notice how now the actor who plays Blue Beetle is now like, well, it just depends on how well the movie does.
Yeah, I feel bad for Zolo because he's a good actor. and he deserved this. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Blue Beetle doesn't look half bad. Like I'm still considering seeing it.
It doesn't. And then Resident says, I believe Jay Oliva is kind of a sign that's not continuing time soon, like the odds fell dramatically. Otherwise, why spoil the Zoom aspect we never knew about? Yeah, but what I mean is that, I mean, that could be true. I do that's a way to look at it. And it could be them just saying, okay, you know what, it's done. But the fact that, yeah, you could take it as that, but here's the thing. We do know that Zach has all new storyboards set up, because here's the thing. And then RJ says, I still would like to see the story theatrically release animated movie at some point, if that's what it would take, or live action, because it still could happen. But what I think is happening here is that, remember, I believe, according to this, these are the old plans, and we know that Zach drew up new storyboards and everything should the opportunity arise. So this could be them saying, yeah, it's not likely, this version of the universe, not likely, but I could just pivot. Or you know what this could be? This could be Jay Oliva subtly saying, you need to actually promote this, because it could happen. And you know, it's kind of interesting. Someone commented on this and said, hey, all you're doing is you're giving these people false hope. We have moved on already. And then Jay Oliva responded, who's we?
Oh, see, this is why I really feel like there's conversations happening in the background that we don't know about. I mean, look at what happened, the stuff they said at SnyderCon. They weren't this. SnyderCon was not a farewell to the Snyder universe. It was in no way a farewell. It was a celebration. There was no hint of finality to it. This is hey guys, look, this is cool, wasn't it? And
you could say it was Zach trying to drum up more support to rally people for doing more with it.
You could say Zach really brought things.
Hashtag full circle.
Full
Thank
circle.
you. I appreciate that. But yeah, so Nick, I do agree with you that there is some stuff going on behind the scenes, because even Jay Oliva was one of them, saying was one of the people in the day before Gunn took over. I think it was a couple of months to a year before Gunn took over. He was saying, hey, they want to do stuff. It's just the fandom kind of has to calm down right now, because they kind of see you guys as aggressive and stuff. So he is one of the people that's been very honest and candid about stuff going on at Warner Brothers. The very fact they said, who's we? And the way I see it, he's implying, don't give up hope. It could still happen.
And plus,
that could be me being wrong, but okay.
But it's very. I want to say my stuff first.
Yeah. Go ahead.
It's very clear that Warner Brothers and Snyder actually have a decent relationship. It's just based off of how they treat each other, how they talk. Because Warner Brothers. Well, yeah, but I'd say in the last few years, ever since the old regime left, they actually have a good relationship, because SnyderCon would have never happened if Warner Brothers did not allow it.
Yeah,
that was it. Things have improved.
What were you saying, Teladia?
I was going to say, I think what has been happening is that since Full Circle, the hype is still there. And I remember The Rock just did an interview just recently and talked about the regime change. That's why the whole situation with Black Adam wasn't that great. And I think what's been happening is because of David Zaslav's problems right now with the strikes going on, the writer strikes, all of that stuff. So they're probably thinking we might as well go back and do the SnyderVerse stuff and get back into watching Zack Snyder's
with the strike
content.
stuff, see, the strike stuff is a little tricky because they can't write or shoot anything now. But it could be him planning because here's what you have to understand about Warner Brothers. They were in debt before the strike happened. Now they're even more in debt because they're losing money because of the strike. So what I think is that Zaslav is considering this could just be, again, this is not me saying it's happening for sure. That this is just me considering the scenario that Zaslav is thinking, okay, I need to make a lot of money fast. What if we just do both to a degree? RJ says, ideally, yeah, it should be finished the way it started, but given the scope and scale of the story and the logistics of cost, it'd be way easier to get it. Yeah, 100%. But what I think they could do, they could still do it, shoot two JL 2 and 3 back to back and just complete at least that part of the story. Just do that. And they don't necessarily have to release it theatrically, although I would like it to. They could put it out on Max as a 2-season miniseries, season 1 being JL 2 and season 2, you catch my drift. Yeah. But what I think is happening is that Zaslav's could be considering options like, okay, let me look at this. So I'm losing a lot. I'm losing even more money than I have. It makes it even harder because it eats up more time and money that could have gone into projects across the board. It pushes shooting schedules for actors back too. That's true too. But what I'm saying is that from a money perspective, and Zaslav seems like a guy, based on his statements, that he has a lot of that he really wants in the DC brand. That's the key thing.
Well, here's
I'm not done yet. So what I think is what's going to happen is, when the strikes like resolve, I think they could go, okay, do you want to like continue this? Do you want, while Gunn is like, because I get the feeling that this is going to throw a lot of Gunn's projects out of whack. Do you want to do something here to like drum up excitement for the DC brand in general? Because that would get people talking about DC. Go ahead.
I don't think they're going to do it that way, because here's the thing about Gunn. Okay. So I don't think he hates Zack Snyder or even the Snyderverse. But here's the problem. Gunn wants to do his own universe. And no matter how much he doesn't hate Snyder, he still sees the Snyderverse as an obstacle to doing what he wants to do. Okay? Like, even if he doesn't hate it, it's still an obstacle for his plans. And I really feel that explains a lot of the actions. Because a lot of the stuff that Gunn has been doing don't scream malice. They just scream, I want to do my own thing.
Well, the problem with that, Nick, is that then if he wants to do his own thing, then why is he continuing the Matt Reeves universe too, and in fact expanding that?
He might that might be like his hands are tied, because because the problem with the Batman is it fell into the pit where it's like it didn't make enough money to make it to be like, okay, yes, this is where we need to go, but also at the same time it made enough money to be like, okay, we can't just flat out abandon this. It really didn't make enough money to go either way. Like, that's
I know. No, I know, and that would be the argument for doing a sequel, but they're actually expanding it. That's the thing there, where I'm like, he's saying, okay, and then my guess is that it would push Superman Legacy to 2026, and they'll have to, and they'll just wait to launch the DCU until 2025 with Creature Commandos. Let 2024 be a year up with just Joker and nothing else. That could be too. I'm just saying, because here's the other thing. Not only does DC have this really bad money situation, but if DC comes out and at least says we're looking at scenarios where DC has to come out if they want to generate hype for the DC brand in general. What they should do is just come out and say, hey, we're looking at ways to complete this story. That could be animation, comics. They should communicate, hey, listen, we want to complete this story. We want to bury the hatchet with Zack. This may not be live action, but it could be like animated or comics. We're just looking at ways to do this. Just give us time, because the very fact that they were looking to like finish the story in some way, granted there would be people that were upset it wouldn't be live action, but at the very least, it would look like DC is trying to like turn a new leaf and go, okay, you know what? We're done with the pettiness of the past. We're going to focus on, first off, you're demonstrating that you can complete a story. Because so far, I don't know if DC is going to overreact and pull the plug. By DC, I mean Zaslav. Sorry, I should have been clear on that. Because yes, Gunn is in charge of DC, but Zaslav, if any of his movies fail, could be like, okay, you know what? Pull the plug.
Jared, I have a crazy idea.
What?
So remember how we talked about like animated, Justice League?
Yeah.
Let's take it one step further. What if they worked with an animation studio, like a Studio Trigger or Production ID, like kind of like what they did with Cyberpunk Edge Runners, to where American co-production where there's writers, but it's still like an anime production, like
cool.
and like you get the voices of the cast. Like imagine that, like
if you do animated, you should get the cast together. That should be not an issue because all that takes is like a day of recording stuff, and I think that'll be fine. RJ
yeah, but imagine they
says,
get like an anime studio to do it.
yeah, I would love that. Gal potentially staying on as one of them legit tick me off. It makes zero sense and won't please anybody. It'll please me. It makes everything much more messy. That's the thing, RJ. Here's my point. Because granted, the potential is there for it to be an Elseworld story and for them to say, okay, so we're going to pursue this with Elseworlds. Gunn says we're going to do Elseworld stuff even when he first took over. So there is that. Also, this is not a reboot. I'm sorry. This is not a reboot. Flash didn't reboot it. They're keeping so many of the actors around that I'm like, basically everyone but Superman and Batman is staying as of yet so far.
And
so
this is where the problem lies.
Yeah, this is not a reboot.
You can call this Elseworlds all you want, but people are going to be like, oh, where's Robert Pattinson? Why isn't Robert Pattinson in The Brave and the Bold? Like, what? Like, oh, there's a Joker. Why isn't Joaquin Phoenix? Like, the normal person doesn't understand Elseworlds. They just like, oh, there's Batman. Like,
the general audience would be so confused by what's been going on.
And if
Are you guys using bad embargo logic right now?
Guys, but
yeah,
no,
go ahead.
But okay, the bad embargo had a point, but it's not so much anymore. But still, normal audiences, especially like the movie theater kinds, like you can release the Snyder Cut on Netflix and it's fine because it's more of a niche audience and that's fine. But movie theaters is general audiences. Movie theaters is everyone. So if you're gonna release movies, you have to market to a general audience. Netflix, you can market to a niche audience. So you can do, even on HBO Max, you can do a niche audience. But movies are for everyone. So like let's say you have the Batman, then you do Batman Brave and the Bold with different Batman. Audiences are going to get confused.
Exactly. Now, RJ says that's why I'm hoping that's either an Elseworlds movie or she's just going to produce a Wonder Woman reboot with a production company. Because otherwise, man, I don't know what they're doing. Yes, RJ, realistically, what happened with Elseworlds? Now, let's say they go with the Elseworlds rate for this and the SnyderVerse. What I think they could do. This isn't a perfect scenario, but by any means, if they go Elseworlds. But what they could do is just essentially go, okay, listen, guys. You know how like in like the two most recent Tom Cruise movies, they have a short clip that plays in the beginning of like Tom Cruise saying, "Hey, thanks for coming to see the movie and stuff." What I think they could do, this could be something of James. It could be a video of James Gunn coming on saying, "Hey, everyone, thank you for coming to see this movie. Just to let you know, this is not connected to the other to the universe that we're building. This is not.
They're not going to do that.
They're not going to do that. But I'm just saying, there's a way that there are ways that they can do this. Is what I'm saying.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Okay. How would you let me ask you this, and I'll ask Oliv since he has his hands up first. How would you handle this scenario if they wanted to go the Elseworlds route for the SnyderVerse or Wonder Woman 3?
Am I going first or Teladia?
Teladia, he had his hands up first.
So okay. I think like the way I would have done it is fully recast everybody, right?
Yes, yes.
For Gunn's universe, yes.
For Gunn's universe, recast everybody, cut ties with the old what the old regime was doing, and I know that would have ticked off so many Snyder fans, but at the same time, people would be on board for that, right? In terms of giving him a chance. But because he isn't doing that, like the whole Blue Beetle movie, for example, now 1 minute is in the DCU, next minute he's like, oh, I don't know, it depends on the performance of the movie. It's like it's very confusing for audience to moviegoers to basically say, is it really connected, right? And I think it's going to be another flop situation where it's going to suffer because of the fact it's so confusing for
and
audience.
The fact that the writers are on strike and they can't promote the movie is just going to hurt it even more. Like you saw the tracking information that the movie is tracking for an $18 million opening,
and then it's just supposed
$75
to have,
million for its run.
Yeah, that's bad. And
that's that is like those are numbers that might have been okay in the early 90s.
And then even in recent times, people were saying that why Superman didn't help out with the Avengers. Yeah, exactly. RJ also says, or the worst option imaginable. They never addressed that interview with Gal again, and the promise of Wonder Woman 3 never happens, and it gets canceled behind the scenes like the Henry return. Oh, if they do, wait, Nick, let me finish. If what happened to Henry happens to Gal, a lot of people are going to check out of this universe because then here's the thing. Then it's not like they can't like blame the studio for the previous regime for like promising something that's not going to happen, because then it would be because she said she's developing it with Gunn, and if that falls apart all of a sudden out of nowhere, people are going to check out of this and say, you know what, screw you.
Can I pitch? Like, I just had this idea for a really cool Wonder Woman movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a Wonder Woman movie. It's a Wonder Girl movie. So what you do Donna Troy or Cassie Sandsmark. You have Gal Gadot in there, but she's a supporting character. So like you see Wonder Girl.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Let me just for sake of argument, I'm just say Donna Troy. Let's say Wonder Woman finds her in the burning building and takes her to Themyscira, and Donna Troy, and it's like it's a Wonder Girl movie, and it's like Gal Gadot appears like a couple times throughout the movie. It's kind of like No Way Homecoming a little bit, where it's a Spider-Man movie and Iron Man appears a couple times to mentor. You know,
if they were to do a Wonder Girl movie, I could see that working, but I can't see them doing a Wonder Girl movie though.
No. But what I'm saying is, like, you could make the argument that Wonder Girl has existed in the Snyder universe, you just haven't seen her, and Wonder Woman, these events happened at some point. Like you could it's very easy to slot it into the Snyderverse, is what I'm trying to say.
And real quick, RJ, I think Blue Beetle is fine because that's detached enough that I could say, okay, you know what, they could just have have him stay on. But what I would do is get rid of Peacemaker and Waller and get rid of anything that links to that previous regime. Because guess what? People are still going to say, why isn't Henry Cavill and Peacemaker somehow? Because the Justice League from the previous universe showed up in Peacemaker season 1 and season 2. It's really stupid for him to keep these people around.
Okay, exactly. I have a question for you. So if we're going to cast a new Amanda Waller, who should be the new Amanda Waller? Like we haven't done that casting yet. Like who would you guys cast them in the new Amanda Waller? We haven't done that one yet.
By the way, a hard one because it's a pretty solid choice.
Daddario as Giganta is actually an inspired choice. I like that. By the way, real quick, if I was in charge, I'd make Wonder Woman 3 an Elseworlds movie in the vein of Logan. It's Wonder Woman Deader taking place in a variation of the Nightmare timeline to end the Snyderverse, directed by Zack if possible. That would be interesting. I could definitely see that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that could work. That could work.
Or how's this? They just do the Elseworlds timeline, modify it so Wonder Woman shows up in it, and just have her be like, well, here's the problem. If they do Wonder Woman in the Nightmare League, she could stand up to Superman. The point of the Nightmare timeline, and the reason why they're sending Barry back in time, is because no one could fight Superman. Which I guess that what we use. Okay, so in terms of who would be a good Amanda Waller, geez, I'm trying to think. I mean, if you guys want to hear a pretty solid Amanda Waller impression, go check out New Direction on JJheat's channel.
Like Viola Davis, like even Angela Bassett, I think in one of the
she's my choice. I would go with you
realize she was Amanda Waller in Green Lantern, right?
Yeah, I would go with her. She was great.
I'm trying to think. I was about to say Oprah.
Wait, what?
You get a Suicide Squad. You get your
head blown off. Head blown off.
The lady that was in Black Panther, that was the general, not the queen. Oh, Okoye.
I could see that.
No. The queen actually. Was that Angela Bassett that played the queen?
That was Angela Bassett.
Oh yeah. I like that. That's good.
Wait, but okay, hold on. I want to go back to Daniel's comment. Could Peter Dinklage as Dr. Psycho work? Because Dr. Psycho he's a Silver Age villain, though.
No, I'm saying if they used him, I could totally see Peter Dinklage playing
maybe
Psycho.
A secondary villain, but
but like Jared,
like have his hand up.
All right, okay, yeah, I gotta turn my camera on.
So I was gonna say that I don't think Peter Dinklage would do it though, because he'll think that it's discrimination and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
If they pay him enough money, he'll do it.
And real quick, if you guys can turn your cameras on and raise your hands if you want to like throw out points, so I can like know in which order to call on people.
But in regards to Dr. Psycho, like if you actually play DCverse online, like the dungeon that had Dr. Psycho in it, like that just shows you they can do Dr. Psycho in a modern context and have it work.
They could, yeah, I 100% agree with that.
And as an actor, I think Peter Dinklage is perfect for the role.
Yeah. Now, here's what I think they're going to do. Because here's what by the way, so Jay Oliva also was talking about the Batfleck movie, and he said it was a fantastic movie, first off. Then he also said, by the way, Peter Dinklage in Wonder Woman 3 poster is a huge advertising for the movie. That's true. But he said it was going to be basically a celebration of 80 years of Batman. So I'm like, I still think, let me put it this way. Here's the scenario where I think it could happen. Because if the Matt Reeves Batman universe becomes successful on the side and DC starts making up some money, they could go, okay, you know what? Let's put this out on HBO Max at least. Make the SnyderVerse the like streaming universe. It's not ideal. I would still like to see these movies in theaters, but at the very least, that way they're, like you said, Nick, you have the niche audience, and there's a layer of separation between the SnyderVerse and the Gunverse enough that people can go like, okay, he's the streaming one. I can go see that on the streaming.
Because like the thing is, when people think of streaming, they think of streaming in the same way you think of as TV.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's like how you can have Batman, like you can have characters show up on Arrow, and like you have a Flash on TV and a Flash in the movie, and they're perfectly separate because people see movies and TV as separate mediums. But if you have two Batman in a movie medium, people are going to get confused. But if you have a Superman on the movies and Superman on TV, which we've had that for like the past 5 years, it's called, you know, Cavill and Heckler.
And by the way, okay, so what I think is going to happen, here's what I think it's going to, we'll start hearing more, if we start hearing more pro SnyderVerse stuff by the time Zach's contract with Netflix is up, then I think there could be something going on, because now they can openly talk to Zach.
But here's the question for you, Jared. I've got to ask you this question. Do we think that the SnyderVerse potentially, obviously, I think that there is talks being held. Do we think that potentially they could be used on a different platform like Netflix?
Yep.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. Streaming in general, yes. And by the way, David, I think Zach's Netflix deal at least expires this coming year. So it's after Rebel Moon comes out. So here are two factors. I've always said this. If Rebel Moon is popular, and when Zach's when Zach's contract with Netflix is up, well, yeah, when Rebel Moon is big, because all of his movies have been big on streaming, and it's Zack Snyder's Star Wars, that's gonna be popular. When that, thank you, Nick, I appreciate that correction. That is important. When those two factors play up, I think they're gonna at least explore him as the streaming option and say, hey, Zach, total amends, because how much of a big like show of goodwill would it be if you have like James Gunn shaking hands with Zack Snyder in front of the Warner Brothers or DC logo? That is a PR move right there, and it's a good PR, because then that shows, okay, because here's why I said they should explore continuing the SnyderVerse release on streaming in some capacity. It shows.
Oh, I think
you were all welcome here.
You froze there for a second, buddy.
You froze.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So if he continues the universe, if this is why I've said they should continue the SnyderVerse, the Reevesverse, all of these universes, because it shows DC. It shows the DC fans that, first off, it shows the versatility of the brand, and it shows the fans that if you like this universe, there's a place for you here. If you like this universe, there's a place for you here. And because for the longest time, ever since Zach left and Warner Brothers became Warner Brothers You know what I mean by that.
Yeah.
They made SnyderVerse fans feel like you're not real DC fans, and the fan base hasn't helped. So I'm just saying,
So
this is a good way to repair the relation. It would be a good show of good faith from the company to the fans.
So here's how the scenario is going to play out. Okay, this
And
is
by the way, Dave,
get that casting idea out of your dang mouth.
Oh, come on, it ain't that bad.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead, Nick.
Wait, pull up the comment again.
Wait, Emancipator. It's a damn multiverse. You sure that was possible with the Flash, or am I wrong? Yeah, exactly. It's a multiverse, so there's no logistical reason why you shouldn't do this. Because ultimately, it has a price tag, but you'll get that price tag back in spades if you do this.
So here's I was supposed to go.
JJheat had his hands up.
But I was supposed to go before you interrupted me.
Okay, fine.
Let Nick cook. Let Nick cook, and I'll take over.
All right, so here's the scenario. Here's how this is gonna play out. The day after Rebel Moon drops, and like Netflix, like, hey, Zach, could you come in the office, please? So so Rebel Moon, it crashed Netflix like 3 times, and so you know that like how we're supposed to renew the deal next week. Okay, here is a big pile of cash, and here's the renewal deal for the next 5 years. Oh, and here's someone from Warner Brothers came over. I'm sure you're acquainted. He wants to take his shot, guys. and then James Gunn walks out from the shadows.
Okay.
And he's like, I'm here to talk to you about the Justice League initiative.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's total fantasy, but still.
Yeah. Go ahead, JJheat.
Before I continue, Dave the Impaler, that comment, I commend you, but too soon, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Too soon.
Exactly.
Too soon.
Yeah.
But go ahead, JJheat.
But as I was saying, say what you will about the whole SnyderVerse. Now, this could easily be an Arrowverse or Defender situation where it's in the background. Does it allow more variety? Yes. Does it kind of go into ether? But again, you're allowing. It's a situation to where DC, they have their brand. They just have a bad branding problem right now. Granted, it's not as bad as Disney with Marvel, but they do have a bit of a brand problem, and that's due to the action of the old regime where they let their egos get in the way of business and making money. It's a self-inflicted wound that's going to take years to heal.
Mm-hmm. But this would be a step in the healing direction, saying, okay, you know what, let's just complete this. Let's heal this scar. And yes, that could be true. That would be handling this, yes, but Gunn would still have to green light it because he is in charge of everything that has the DC logo on it. So it could be it's away from his universe and stuff. It's worse than Marvel, though. Yeah, it is worse than Marvel.
I think you could say that James has it by gunpoint.
Yes, exactly. But on that note, yeah, I agree with JJheat. Yeah, I'm just saying this is a way that they could a step that they could take to repair the brand, at least in the public eye, and say, you know what? We screwed up in this scenario. We're going to make it right.
Mind if I say something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think even though we've got the multiverse situation, it's a mess right now with the multiverse. It's a big mess, right? Mm-hmm. Because, where do you put Ezra Miller's Flash now, right? Because he's lost in a universe where
I guess you could say he's lost for forever, and Robin.
I mean,
not your best work, Nick, but I appreciate the effort.
Hashtag let Teladia speak.
I mean, the way I see it is that because Ezra's Flash is lost somewhere in the multiverse in Clooney's universe, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean for the SnyderVerse? Because if what Jay Oliva was saying on social media about the Batfleck film and all of that stuff, plus on top of that, JJheat, goddammit.
Keep going.
I just think that I think it's going to be very confusing if they, do these different things. And also James Gunn isn't helping the situation.
No, he's not.
No,
let him cook. Let him cook. Hashtag let Teladia speak.
I mean, I'm agreeing with him. I'm just saying that. So.
He's making things worse. If you know what I mean, it's like he's making things worse. Like for example, he never promoted Black Adam. I think if he promoted Black Adam at the time or helped The Rock promote Black Adam, he would have made money.
To be fair,
He
I think
wasn't.
the movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Go ahead, Nick.
Did the movie come out after he got hired on, or like shortly before?
Shortly before.
Shortly before.
So, yeah, so James Gunn was under no obligation to do so until like maybe a few days before it released. So I'm not going to put that one on James Gunn's feet.
But for other films like, for example, what other movie was there? Shazam 2 kind of flopping, as so to say, because the way I see lad, welcome lad, Shazam 2 kind of flopping, and like I don't get it. It's like, what you expect, James Gunn? Half the film that you're putting out are flopping, and you said.
Well, here's the thing. So far, the only film that it would look bad for James Gunn is Black Adam. I mean, not Black Adam. Sorry, is Blue Beetle, because he did say that. Because he did say, "Oh, he's a part of the universe."
But the one thing I can say though is, David Zaslav did screw up by mentioning, "Oh, the Flash is the best thing since the Dark Knight."
Trying to overhype it. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, every DC movie that has come out, someone in an official capacity has tried to make that claim. Shazam was, Black Adam was.
The only movie where that's been true is Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I mean, yeah, that's a fact. So,
I mean, the way I see it is that Warner Brothers right now is in a sticky situation. They're financially struggling across all media, by the way, not only film, animation, but I'm talking everywhere, even video games too, right? So I think what James Gunn needs to do is just sell the Snyderverse, right? Sell it and license it out to Netflix. Get that deal going and get some money coming in, because if you have that money coming in, you can make that money and you can potentially make a profit, and it could help Warner Brothers in a big way. But like I said, he's not prepared to do any of that. What he wants is, oh, my Superman and my Batman. I don't want Ben. I don't want Henry. And I'm just like, even though you got Gal back, or she never left, as Home of DC said, it's kind of gonna confuse a lot of different people. I'm just gonna put it out there.
Particularly if she comes back as Wonder Woman, she's standing with the new Superman and Batman. Plus, here's the thing: and someone posted this when the article came out about Gal potentially staying. It was like, this is really starting to look like Gunn had some personal vendetta against Henry and Ben.
Well,
because and remember, wait, real quick. When someone asked him why isn't Henry being Superman anymore, he goes, because he wasn't what I wanted for Superman.
And then you look at the casting, and it's just Henry Cavill, just younger.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, you are not helping your argument right now.
Because
you really are not.
You remember what James Gunn's initial argument was that Henry was too old to play Superman. How old is the new Superman actor? Like, what is he, like late 20s, early
about
30s?
10 years younger than, and not only that, Gal is like 3 years younger than Henry, and she's potentially staying as Wonder Woman.
And isn't Patterson like 37?
Yeah, Patterson's very close to his age. I'm like, what do I need to ask this. Are you thinking these responses through? Because this is not working for you. Where Wombat says the only main reason Warner Bros. Universal all wanted to do a cinematic universe is because they all know Marvel did it first, and that's what it all goes back to. Yeah, it's true.
I also, like, this is a bit of a conspiracy theory. I believe this is why we haven't seen, like, Ayer cut yet, is because I feel like James Gunn knows that if the Ayer cut comes out, it's probably going to be really popular and going to make a lot of money. And I feel like he feels like it might kind of confuse, like, muddy the waters in the discourse, because like Warner Bros. Might go like, hey, look at how much money the Ayer cut made. We should do that, because Warner Brothers executives historically are very scatterbrained. They tend to see like, oh, this made a lot of money. Let's do this. This made less money. Let's not do this. Like,
yeah, it's like at Warner Brothers.
Now,
pretty much.
Chasing trends commercially speaking, I have to say this. Chasing trends is a corporate niche. It's a factor of the business. That's true. However, there is such thing as playing too much into it or just riding the bandwagon. It's a very fine line.
Now, yeah, that is true, and they have taken a step to avoid that when they made DC Studios, but ultimately, he's still under Warner Brothers executives, and i.e. Zaslav. So ultimately, it didn't really solve anything. But what I do think here, I do agree with you, Nick, that's probably why the Ayer cut hasn't come out. Heck, that probably is why the Schumacher cut hasn't come out at this point. But I'm pretty certain that, well, the Warner Brothers board or like Zaslav are going to tell him, no, release this thing. The people want it, release it. And then if that's popular, I honestly think if the Ayer cut comes out and is popular, I do agree with you on this, Nick. That does make it more likely they'll pursue that path.
Yeah,
Let's be honest. When it's popular, if it comes out, when it comes out and it's popular, because I got news for you. From what I've been hearing, it's a way better film. And watch, I want to see if people like it better than James Gunn's Suicide Squad. That's the other reason why I think he doesn't want it to come out. Because remember, his first DC movie was Suicide Squad.
Because like they want to avoid what happened with Zack Snyder, because like they realize this is what we could have gotten in theaters. Because when Zack Snyder Justice League came out, everyone realized this is what we could have got. I mean, it would have been cut down, of course.
Well,
but
yeah.
like they realized, like people realized just how much they're gypped, and the same thing is going to happen when the Ayer cut comes out, because people realize, holy crap, this is a film we could have gotten, and I think there'll be egg on a lot of the executive faces.
Mm-hmm. Hey, what's up, Travis? And Travis said, weirdly, the Ayer cut does exist in the form of the novelization released shortly before the film. I actually read it first and was shocked seeing the movie, seeing how much was missing. Yeah, if Gunn tries to ape on the Christopher Reeves nostalgia again, Superman Legacy won't go anywhere. People on Twitter and Reddit who want an idealized Superman are not the general movie audience. And watch, they'll start making the same excuse. If that movie comes out and it underperforms, they're going to start making excuses about like, well, give him another movie. He needs another. You have to be patient and see what he wants. And I'm like, where have we heard this before? Hey, what's up, Max? How you doing, dude? Good to see you, brother.
I know Max is streaming in about half an hour. That's why.
Now say what. Okay. Say what you were about Nolan.
Hey, Jared. Should we invite Max on the show?
He said he can't because he said just leaving a like, have a good show.
Oh,
Otherwise, okay. I would. Otherwise, I would.
A shame. But a lot of the baggage and a lot of the bad blood people outside of just basic Twitter nonsense, I refuse to call it X, but is mostly due to the DCAU and Superman the Animated Series. I want to make this very clear, and I'm going to make sure I have my camera on for this. I want to make this very clear. What you saw in Man of Steel is essentially Superman the Animated Series uncensored. Take all the material from the late Silver Age, post-crisis.
Yes.
Please come next week. Yes.
Yep.
Yes. But back to my main point.
Yeah.
A lot of what you saw in DCAU Superman is essentially what you saw in Man of Steel.
I got news for you. Man of Steel is just to go off of what you said, JJheat. It's not even uncensored. It's Superman the Animated Series live action. That's what it is.
I don't know, sir. He's kind of hot.
I think
get him out. Get him out.
Quoted the movie.
Wait, Teladia, go.
I was gonna say that I think what Zack Snyder has done for the characters is definitively told those characters one-to-one from Frank Miller's Batman.
New 52. I got news for you. Here's what you have to understand. And by the way, I keep bringing up this point because it 100% shows what Zack Snyder did to the DC brand. My mom has historically not been a superhero movie fan. 100% not, because she like me originally back in the day thought they're kind of hokey and stuff, and it wasn't really her stuff. I showed her Zack Snyder's DC movies. She was like, oh, I want to see another one. So I'm like, what you're doing, that's what it did for the general audience. Not like the comic book purists on Twitter who annoy the ever-living hell out of me. That's what it does. The same people who are blasting Zack Snyder are the ones that are saying that My Adventures with Superman is the best thing that's ever happened to Superman. I have to say that because that's our next topic.
Jared, please don't, because I already had enough of that show for 1 week.
Yeah, Zack Snyder's been building toward the Justice League Unlimited. That's what Jay Oliva called it, Justice League Unlimited. So Suicide Squad ends
So
with
what you're saying is we could have had Henry Cavill do the World of Cardboard speech.
Possibly, because remember, they were going to fight Darkseid. So guess what?
Can you imagine Henry Cavill doing the World of Cardboard speech?
I really, while he's punching the crowd. Man of Steel was based off of Superman American Alien, Superman Earth 1, Superman Birthright, Superman Secret Origin, yeah, here are all the comics that's based off of. I always tell people it is literally post-crisis Superman. That's what it is.
Just left a little reference in the private chat. I just want to see if any of you get
Yeah.
it.
I mean, I thought Henry Cavill was based off of New 52 Superman.
He is
Mostly.
and post-crisis. They combine post-crisis and New 52.
I mean, he's wearing a New 52 suit.
Not really. The New 52 suit had the collar and it was more armor-like.
And he had a red belt.
And he had the red belt. Granted, I am glad he didn't have the trunks though. So there you go.
To be fair, that would have been a little too cartoony.
So
if the Reeves fans could read, they'd be very mad right now.
What?
I was doing the meme.
Yeah, I do love that. And then I would have liked a Man of Steel 2 where he's sucked into the Phantom Zone, meeting Colonel Hardy from the first film, now in Kryptonian armor, having to work with Superman to escape. That would be cool. And I forgot to mention last day, you guys were saying that you will do, if you reach a certain amount of subscriptions, to comment Superman Returns. Oh, to watch Superman Returns if we reach a certain amount of subscriptions. Well, I'll do that anyway because I like that movie.
Yeah.
I just want to interject just real quick. I've already officially got 161 on the channel currently. So if I get 200, I will comment on Superman Returns.
I'll be there with you because I actually like that movie.
Same.
We'll do a group thing.
I'm at 367. I picked up a few subscribers since then. When I get to 400, I will read since past. So.
And once again, if you guys want me to do a pro Wonder Bat stream, get me to 1,000, but before the year's up.
AKA, please,
I'll
for
do
the
it.
love of God, subscribe to Comics League.
I'll do it. I'll do 100%. There you go.
Do it for Teladia. #, please do it for Teladia.
Let's move on to our next topic of the day. So let me just do this.
I love that.
Yeah, I love it too. So what we got here is the Fantastic Four casting rumors. Now, actually, I really just want to talk about the Fantastic Four. Oh, by the way, Travis goes, in one of Jared Leto's cutscenes, he tells Harvey that he wanted to be helped and hates her for essentially frying his brain, making him more sympathetic. Don't know why it was cut. That would have been cool. And then
depends on the execution.
And I want to see Jared roasting Wonder Bat in a live stream. Well, I do that every week, but this would be me starting off hearing arguments about why Wonder Bat, about if Wonder Bat works. I say why. I don't say why because why implies there is a chance it works. So I would say it would be if Wonder Bat works, and then at the end of it, I just tear it apart. My Adventure Superman is pretty great. Okay, no, you know what?
He's a.
Oh, come on.
Sorry, Teladia.
David is allowed his opinion.
Yeah, but I just have to bring up this one thing. So we get Deathstroke, who's pretty much an Iron Man knockoff. We get a totally stupid looking Mixoplex Clark Kent, whose proportions are all wrong, and he walks around without the Superman suit. You know, I'm
Jared,
just yeah.
Here's my rebuttal.
Jared, wait. I'm just gonna say this. Jared,
Nick was first. Yeah, go ahead.
Your opinions are valid, and so are David's. Okay, he's allowed to like the show.
No, I know. I just wanted to bring this up. You have a rant ready? Yes, I do. Yes, exactly. So you start off. The animation on Superman is a little iffy because his head's too small for his shoulders. That's the first thing. Second off, and Teladia knows this because we reacted to the episode live today on Teladia's channel.
Oh, yeah.
He walks around and gets shot at, and like his shirt burns off, right? So you'd expect to see the Superman suit. No, he went on a trip without the Superman suit. That's the first thing.
Honey, where's my super suit?
Yes, exactly. Then second off, So remember that the brain and the ape from Young Justice? Yeah, they're in love in this show, and it's implied that they had a relationship even before the dude became a brain. So you have a scientist having sex with a gorilla.
Are they trying to take over the world?
No,
No.
they don't want to turn into a planet of the apes.
I mean, one is a genius, the other's insane.
I like parts of it. It's just the Deathstroke part and this part are utter horribleness.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
It's gone downhill since the last 2 episodes, right? Since I've been reacting to since episode 1. Literally, the shit. Sorry.
Language.
I say sorry. The show has gone down the rabbit hole and not come out. Go, JJheat.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Teladia, are you late for a very important date?
Oh, and by the way,
No.
actually, Earth 52 is not the ape Earth. It's actually the new 52 Earth.
The Earth that makes us happy.
That's the good Earth. That's the good DC Earth. And by yes, exactly. That's what they implied in this recent Superman, which I get it. That's a reference to the Grant Morrison era of Doom Patrol, but there are some parts of comics that should not be adapted.
My favorite Earth is the DCAU Earth because they wonder about his canon there.
Actually, it doesn't happen in that Earth because, according to Susan Eisenberg, that was supposed to be just a flirting relationship. Because I believe she actually said Batman can't do a relationship. So
a short-term fling, if you would.
I gotta say something as well. Also, Nightfire is not a thing in the DCAU.
I mean, to be fair, Starfire doesn't even exist in the DCAU. Like, literally, the Teen Titans get one mention on Static Shock, and that's about it. But there's no implication that Starfire even exists on the DCAU. So literally, it literally cannot exist because Starfire does not exist. Booyah!
But remember,
can I please get back to my point, please?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. I actually am planning to do a My Adventures of Superman review with Teladia Plays. Will be live tomorrow at 8 p.m. But from what I've seen, this is essentially what if Lois and Clark met 5 years earlier. That's basically the premise of the show. Now, is making the majority of Superman's rogues gallery tech-based tedious? Yes. Turning Deathstroke into Iron Man annoying? Very. But the Achilles heel for this show so far is how rapid and vain interim Lois Lane is.
No, I love that one because it's showing what Lois Lane actually is. But my problem with that is also the character design of Deathstroke himself. He looks like an anime boy. Don't use Deathstroke if you want to turn him into that. That is completely stupid.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
Which is the worst Lois Lane?
Okay.
My Adventures of Superman or Spider-Man 2018?
You mean the game?
The lowest that's in the lowest lane that exists in Spider-Man 2018.
You mean the Mary Jane in that game? I prefer
yes,
that.
That's a joke.
Prefer that. The worst one is the one in My Adventures of Superman.
Sorry, like we did Spider-Man earlier, and I had to
somehow the My Adventures with Superman is rapidly approaching being worse than comics Lois Lane, and you know how much I disdain comics.
But I will make a rebuttal. Now, this makes more sense in My Adventures of Superman because this is still her intern days. She's not a finished product, and she's still dealing with a lot of post-adolescent angst and insecurities. So that makes sense. But
if My Adventures of Superman Lois does a Wonder Woman cosplay, I will literally burn down Warner Brothers again.
With your Phoenix?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
But
contrary to popular belief, I am not a Phoenix.
Because here's the thing. All right. I get that this is an anime show for kids. I get it. My problem is when people post on Twitter that this show is saving Superman from Snyder. That's my problem there.
Okay, here's my rebuttal. Like, whenever people do the for kids argument, what they're really saying is it's okay that it's lesser quality because it's for kids. Just because it's for kids is not an excuse for lesser quality. Look at all the amazing quality children's television that we had. I mean, Justice League Unlimited, all the
DCAU in general.
But the what I mean by that, Nick, is that this is I'm just quoting the arguments that I would hear. Okay, it's not for you. It's more like an animation show. But I'm like, okay. But my problem is, again, when you're saying this is saving Superman from Zack Snyder.
That's a bit of
Yeah.
a stretch. That's just for clicks, man. That's a complete exaggeration.
This is a different. To be clear, this is a different this is a valid version of the Superman universe. I don't enjoy it so far.
And if there's people who enjoy My Adventures Superman,
That's
and
fine.
they've decided it is their favorite version, that is perfectly fine. Your opinion is valid. We do not share it, and that's fine.
Agree to disagree.
And to be clear,
Exactly.
the show still has like I think 5 or 6 episodes, so it could somehow improve. Somehow, maybe.
But I really
Somehow,
hope-
wait, I had to do it. Somehow, My Adventures Superman got better.
Oh, I got one. Travis goes, being reminded of the time I asked my comic shop if they had the Punisher crossover with Azrael Batman, and he proceeded to tell me the history of why Azrael Batman sucked. That's good. That's good.
And this is why comic shops are dying right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But I will say this. If they are that hell-bent on making General Lane the big bad, you have officially ripped off the Incredible Hulk and General Ross and just called it a day.
Oh,
That's all you
by
did.
the way, can I say one thing?
Superman writers have been confusing Sam Lane for General Ross for literally decades.
Oh my god!
They treat him like he's General Ross. Like it almost to the point where it's hard to see where like what is the true Sam Lane character because they just write him like General Ross.
This version is the one in Superman and Lois. I will say that, but I will say
That one he's a hard, but he at least cares.
I had a really positive experience in my LCS, so I got my regular stuff, and I got like a lot of comics, and the owner who knows me now, I go to Comic Club there. He gave me $100 off because I got a lot of stuff. So I'm like,
but as much as you spend,
I'm fine with that.
That's disturbing.
No, and he said, you know what? I'll give you a larger discount because you got a lot and you're always here and stuff. So I'm like, okay, that's the way you establish a relationship with the customer.
Jared, I don't want to know how much you had to purchase for him to think giving you $100 off was like nothing to him.
Yeah,
like,
you don't want to know.
Dear mother effing God, how much do you spend a month in comics? I do not want to know.
Yeah, I'll tell you offline if you're really interested. But Earth One version of Superman is my favorite. That's a solid version. I love that one. And Superman and Lois is Superman Unchained is basically that, Nick, where he is General Ross, and I'm like, stop it. And then Daniel says, "My Adventures with Superman took all the dignity from the show." By the way, do you want to hear what Britt thinks of My Adventures with Superman? Because I told her about how some of the show got worse. So she said, she goes, okay, so let me see that.
Is she here? Is she in the chat or is she?
This is a Twitter conversation I have with her.
Okay.
She goes, so I see this, yeah. So I said, My Adventure Superman got worse, and then she says, no surprise, but Clois fans will big it up, and says the show keeps getting worse and worse, and then she said it's been bad from the get-go with the most basic anime cliches. And then she says, you remember the Brain, the ape? They put them in a romantic relationship, and then she thought the ape was Grodd. So I had to clarify who that is. She says, I have no idea who that is, but yeah, it's all cringy, try hard anime cliches. And then I brought up about how I don't like their Superman, and that I love when people say this show saves Superman from Snyder. And then she goes, they turned him into a generic himbo. The relationship with Lois is rushed, but because it's so obvious, there's no true development with it. It's just there.
Yeah.
God damn, girl.
I bet Jared loved this version of Lois Lane. Yeah, I do. I like that this is honest with the way Lois Lane actually is. I really appreciate this. This is saving Lois Lane. My favorite part of the fandom was after last week's episode when they were dogpiling on Lois Lane.
My question for you, Jared, do you prefer this Lois Lane, My Adventure with Superman, or do you prefer Superman and Lois, CW's Lois Lane?
CW Lois Lane, but by far. You mean the one from the show that we did the reaction on before this?
Yes.
I love that Lois Lane.
Okay, clip
She's
that, guys.
Better.
Clip that, guys. He said he loves
It's official.
Lois Lane.
It's official. He loves.
No, I've said I like pretty much all of the movie and show Lois Lanes. It's just when it comes to the comics and this Lois Lane that I'm like,
Don't forget Battle of the Super Sons, because you did get a cameo off that one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And if you mention Super Centavia, will show up 3 times.
Yeah. And then Daniel says my favorite Lois was Erica Durance. Yes, please. My favorites, it's Amy Adams, and then Erica was right at number 2.
I'm just gonna say this. Terry Hatcher is a very underrated Lois Lane, and I think the reason why people don't talk about her is because like he was in the 90s, and most of the people that are talking about Superman weren't even born when that show was airing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and by the way, David goes, I think Tomasi Lois is the best Lois. Well, here's the thing. You know it's bad. My only thing is that you only think that because they tried to make her into Wonder Woman, because the writers know that Lois is not as big as Wonder Woman, so they try. And according to Britt, this is one of my favorite things she said. They're trying to make Lois Lane more important than she is, so they try and turn her into Wonder Woman.
It's literally what Marvel's doing with MJ right now, where they're trying to turn MJ into like Black Cat Light.
Yeah, they did that for so long. I have that series. It's actually pretty decent. DCU Lois Lane is the best. I also love Lois and Clark, the New Adventures of Superman TV series. We may have to do a reaction. We may have to do a reaction to that show. I'm down for that. Or like a reaction to like the first episode maybe, or something like that.
Yeah, the problem with a lot of these is like it's like 5-6 seasons of stuff, and it's like 10 to 20 episodes, so it takes a while to do it. But like either the first season or like first episode, I don't know, because like shows like those kind of take a few episodes to get going anyway. Though,
according to Daniel, Eric Durance's Lois was the one that disguised as Wonder Woman to get Clark's attention. Ooh, I wonder.
That actually did happen.
Yeah, I know. I saw that episode. I love it. So let's transition to our last topic of the night. So now we're going to talk about the Fantastic Four stuff. Now, here's what I want to say about this. All this is rumors stuff. Now, what we do have, here's who is rumored to be playing Sue Storm. Hang on. Let me share screen real quick, and here you go.
She's not. That is not Emily Blunt. So no.
Well, I got news for you. John Krasinski is probably not going to play. Is not going to play Reed. So,
which is a shame because I actually think he did a good job in Multiverse of Madness
with what he was given. Yes,
but the fact that he did such a good job what he was given shows that. Imagine if he had good material to work with.
I know. I wish it was those two. And I'm just. By the way, what's kind of funny is that. Years ago, Comic Historian actually photoshopped and this is way before he was in Multiverse of Madness, but Reed. Comic Historian did like a Photoshop edit that had there was a Time magazine, and on the front it said Reed Richards, and there was John Krasinski as Reed. So he's kind of being shown as like a prophet.
Yeah, like I think it was like from like his Benghazi movie he did or something, like one of his like they photoshopped that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's rumored that Sue Storm would kick aside Mr. Fantastic and take the leading role. If they do that,
it's gonna be a storm.
Now, what I will say about that is there is some stuff coming from inside Disney that indicates that the company knows that a lot of insiders in the company are attributing Disney's financial issues to the wokeness and stuff. So they've identified the issue, and they could start like pivoting away from that, is what I'm saying. So that's the only reason why I could like not see that. Yeah, I see that, Nick. I see that, Nick.
Can you share that real quick?
Yeah, right.
I think that's the video, the picture you saw.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. It looks like they just took his head and put him on the Captain America suit and just changed a little stuff. Because look at the shoulders.
And they're clearly using the 2005 logo.
Yes, and they're clearly and yes, that is John Krasinski from 13 Hours of Secret Soldiers of Benghazi.
Wait, what?
Like that looks really good.
One at a time, guys. What's up, JJheat?
Was he also in The Office, or am I confusing him for another?
No, he
actor?
was in The Office, but I'm just saying him with the beard and everything like that. That was from the 13 Hours movie where they got that head.
Yeah, I think the problem is that like I think you're confusing him like Zachary Levi for John Krasinski because like they are very easy to confuse. But yeah, John Krasinski was Jim on The Office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the MCU. Yeah, I don't. I think we're gonna start seeing a lot of MCU stuff be like completely like restructured. That's what I think.
Also, I will say, like, just go like Jessica Kirby as Sue Storm. I actually think she'd do a decent job because, like, she was in Hobbs and Shaw, and I think she put up a really good showing. And like the way she acted there, yeah, I could see her being Sue Storm. Like,
she was also in Mission Impossible, and I think she could do a pretty good job.
yeah. Who would be your casting? What would be your guys' castings for? Like, I think Emily Blunt would be a good Sue Storm first and foremost.
If it were John Krasinski as Reed, yes, Emily Blunt. That would be it.
Like,
Hey, what's up, Droga?
Go watch her in Live, Die, Repeat, and tell me she wouldn't make a good Sue
By the
Storm.
way, speaking of that, Nick, she has read the script, and they have a completed script for Live, Die, Repeat 2. It's just they're waiting for everything to happen.
By the way, Jared, that is a comic book movie, by the way. It's based off of a manga.
And by the way, that is 100% going to be one of our picks for movie night 1 week. We have to, maybe for sci-fi, somehow we have to do that.
It is literally a comic book movie. It's based off of manga.
Yeah, exactly. Emily Blunt should have been Black Widow. That's an interesting choice.
Wasn't she in the running? Wasn't she like in the running for Black Widow back in the day?
I think
like,
she was. I think she was. And yeah, that comes out in an extra, and that blows my mind. Fantastic Four is coming out next year.
No, it's not.
Oh, you mean the Captain America movie? I can't even imagine that Captain America movie being good. I don't know. We'll see. Again, it's about like a version of Captain America that's people like Sam, but it's like when you think of Captain America, you think Steve. I got news for you.
Steve Rogers is Captain America.
Mm-hmm. Give him his own. Give Sam his own identity, which we had with Falcon. What were you gonna say, Teladia?
So I think the whole situation with Fantastic Four, there shouldn't be any news going ahead because the strikes really, actor strikes, writer strikes, and all of that. I think whatever Marvel or DC have got coming out is going to be delayed 10 times of what they had originally.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think. Mm-hmm.
I mean, right now, like from what I can tell, though, it's interesting for Sue Storm. The casting for rumored casting for Sue Storm. But yeah, it's gonna be. We'll have to wait and see.
Mm-hmm. That'd be pretty cool. So, hey, what's up, Master Sergeant? Look at the hashtag Henry Cavill for Sue Storm. Are we sure about the Gadot thing? Seems off. What we think, Master Sergeant, real quick, because you came in late, is that she could be. It could be an Elseworlds movie, or she could be just producing it for the move with her production company.
No,
we still. I
do want to say this, Daniel. The 2005 Fantastic Four movie was not that bad.
No, all the Fantastic Four. So it was Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer. I still say are actually pretty decent. Fan 4-6 sucked.
Rise of Silver Surfer is a bit of a downtick in quality. It's not terrible, but it is worse.
It's not as good as the first movie. I'll give you that.
Oh no.
The first movie is actually really good.
Yes. I have died on that hill multiple times in the past 20 years.
You don't
appreciate it, Ground Destroyer.
Let me put it this way, Nick. You're not dying on that hill alone, because I'm pretty sure all of the other three people in this panel agree with you that the Fantastic Four 1 movie is very underrated.
So what you're saying is, I'm not broken, and I'm not alone.
Well, you do have this. Where is that? I'll just start with this. Hang on. Let me play this.
He's never fought us. Not us united.
There you go. No,
then the intro plays.
Yeah.
And one more time before we wrap up, let's hear it for that new intro. Like, bravo, bravo.
Actually, you know what? For the people who came in afterwards, you guys want to see it again before we log off?
Might as well.
All right, so
Roll
guys,
that beautiful bean footage.
this will officially be the new Comics League intro, but it'd be perfect for Cyborg. Oh, I could see that. JJheat a Cyborg. So, so for those of you that came in late, this is gonna be the very new intro for Comics League officially.
Officially,
Here you go.
Don't engage alone. We do this together.
We got it.
New 52 book.
Somebody clip this one.
So that's it. That is the
Yes.
That's a lot better than the old one. Yeah, because the
Yes,
thing is,
because Nick and Jared both walk off. So.
yeah, the thing about the reason why I wanted to make a brand new one is because with the way the channel has grown and it's gotten to the point where it can be monetized and everything, and the memberships are coming. I promise. By the way, Nick, Daniel's calling you out. So there you go. So I really wanted to like upgrade it. I think the outro is going to stay the same, but my next thing I'm going to do, I'm making an intro for Teladia, and then I'm going to make a brand new intro for Comics League Dark that's more news themed because this is a news show. So be on the lookout for that. But on that note, I'm going to call it. So let's go around. Nick, where can we find you and what have you got coming out?
All right. Well, you can find me on X at the Phoenix Press. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get used to that.
I just love the way you put the emphasis on X.
Yes. Sorry, I was trying to make an X-Men joke and I couldn't. But like, yeah, you can find me on YouTube. Search the same. We just did a great live stream where I did Spider-Man, doing that every Saturday at 8. We got the Avatar rewatch coming up on Monday, then Super Split Screen Bros on Wednesday. Also, just I have an announcement to make regarding Screecher. So, Screecher number 2, Friendly Fire. Pencils are done. All that's left is inking, coloring, and lettering. But a stage of production is done. All 20 pages are penciled.
Yay!
Yay.
Nice. Congratulations.
And speaking of comics news, I just want to throw this out there. So the origin for Atlas, my Superman character, I'm going to give you guys a little tease. When a Navy SEAL team is on a mission investigating a mysterious energy source, stuff happens. I'm going to leave it at that. Teladia, what have you got coming out on the channel?
So on my channel, I will be obviously I've got to post up the Into the Multiverse podcast. I've got to, if I can get it done tonight, great. If I can't, it'll be out next week. I've got to take clip outs for that to talk about Superman Legacy, the future of DC gaming, because that's a really touchy subject right now. And I also will be doing My Adventure with Superman with Jared every Saturday, guys. We're doing reaction streams, and it's great. Also, we've got, what else is there? Oh, myself and JJheat collaborating, and that's going to be amazing. To talk My Adventure with Superman with him, and then, there will be a new show happening, coming soon.
And Daniel, you're gonna love this. Do you have a cold? Because Master Sergeant's wondering about that.
I don't think so. I don't know.
It could be you're far away from the microphone again.
Yeah. So all I can say
Is this better?
Yes.
Yep. All I can say is though, what's it called, Daniel? Super Wonder is happening on the Teladia Plays
Super
channel.
Wonder is coming to Teladia Plays. I've finally gotten to Teladia, and we have an alliance. We officially have an alliance.
Betrayer.
Play the Nightfire clip just to
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. I now have someone else to cue me on that one.
Be a good boy and maybe Mama will give you a cookie.
The things I do for Gotham.
I'm taking that as a yes.
And Nick left.
Low blow, guys. Come on.
All right.
all right.
I mean, I'll delete it. I'll delete it. But JJheat, where can we find you? What have you got coming out?
Well, you can find me at JJheat75 on Twitter, JJheat Blaze on YouTube. Now, we are going to do New Direction Young Justice, where we try to fix the Lobdell run. God help us all.
That's going to be quite an endeavor.
And I've already screen shared it. If Jared could pull it up, please. After that, hopefully before the end of this month, God Killer 2.
Oh, boy.
God,
Trust
I'm
me,
excited for that.
If you think, okay, so here's, I can only tell you this. If you guys thought last time bloody, this is going to make God Killer 1 look like a G-rated cartoon. This is going to make God Killer 1 look like Coco Melon.
I would argue more like the Super Friends, but that's a separate conversation.
Yes, exactly. Oh, gosh.
But other than that, again, my collab with Teladia on the My Adventures of Superman. We're only going to review episodes 1 through 5. So 6 through 10 is going to be part 2 towards the tail end of the season. And I was fan requested to do 2 videos on Harley Quinn. One talking about the TV show and a retrospective on Harley Quinn's character and where could she improve. Now, the show, I'm never going to name names. So if you fan request me something on Twitter or YouTube, it's always going to remain anonymous. But I just did a rewatch of the Harley Quinn show, and it's pretty raunchy, not going to lie.
Mm-hmm. But I just found out that the air cut of Suicide Squad apparently has a lot more Batfleck in it.
Oh, and I've seen David Ayer talk about it.
I want that so much. So in terms of Comics League, I have my collab with Joe Sontag coming on Thursday, and then the following Thursday, Teladia knows I got something. I have something that's coming on the channel. Another collab that is the biggest collab I have ever had on this channel. That's all I'm gonna say. I will reveal it the week of the collab, so you'll figure out who it is.
Can we just give a little?
No, because there's nothing I could say that won't
Just
give it away.
The two initials.
No.
Okay.
That would definitely give it away, but it's huge. And trust me, you'll get a hint next weekend on who it is. And in terms of Monday, in terms of the schedule for next week's content, the only thing I have hammered in is Under Two Capes, where we're going to do a deep dive into Injustice and talk about what we liked, what we didn't like, and all that stuff. And in terms of movie night next week, we're doing Karate Kid, and that was a JJheat pick. So there you go. And then, by the way, once a month we are going to do a fan pick where each of us we'll pick someone to go next month, and then they'll pick 5 movies, and then you guys will hammer down on what movies you want us to do. So that's where we're going to do it from now on, because I think it's fun to encourage more fan. So if the theatrical cut of Suicide Squad makes less and less sense, more than it's revealed, less Joker and Batman. Yeah, exactly. Now, on that note, everyone, stay heroic. It was a pleasure having you watch us on the show today. And I appreciate you guys embracing the new Comics League intro. I put a lot of work into that. So stay heroic, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.